We're gonna go to Kelsey's Dallas Cowboys, and we're not gonna rag on him the same way. But Dak is heading to the IR, and what a lot of people ripped on saying, "Oh, it's your hamstring, get out there and play." Well, it's a little worse than we thought. It's a partial avulsion. I can't even say that one time
Avulsion.
fast. Avulsion of his hamstring tendon. Basically, it's off the bone. It's gonna take a month, if not a little bit longer too. And sometimes it could take even longer if he decides not to get surgery. So he got about as worse of a hamstring injury as you can get, a partial version of that. So he's heading the IR. It is Cooper Rush season yet again. Cowboy season, I think it's safe to say, is I'm not gonna say doomed, but like good luck at this point. Like I feel like those Cowboys preseason futures bets on them getting the playoffs are in some serious jeopardy right now.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah,
that they weren't in jeopardy like before he got hurt. Now they're just in more jeopardy.
yeah, this one hurts, obviously, as the resident Cowboys hater here. By
Oh,
Cowboys
buddy.
hater, I do mean a fan, technically. I just haven't found anybody else to root for that I like to tear my heart out as much. This sucks. You feel bad for Dak in a way, where obviously the ankle injury being the first one, and now you have this kind of crazy hamstring situation. Did he tear it on the run before, or partially tear it off the bone the run before, and then when he went to step, did that fully tear it? I don't know what the situation is there, how that happened, but that is such a crazy situation where it actually rips part of the bone off with the hamstring. It's kind of crazy to think about. They're not an easy recovery. Usually, you need surgery to reattach it, and that takes a couple months. Um, obviously, he's getting second opinions, but still, like, this is wild, and it continues in a season where supposedly Dallas is all in. This is adding insult to, well, now it's adding injury to the insult given by their owner, and you have to try to figure out a way to win now with Cooper Rush, with your number one running back being benched, healthy scratches. Your second string running back now, after your starter gets benched as a healthy scratch, he is now drinking on the sideline before games. Rico Dowdell isn't experienced enough to be out there. Your number one wide receiver probably separated his shoulder, if not broken clavicle, depending on what they officially announce as his injury. I say officially because it seems to be that they're trying to cover something up.
What
Um,
they saying it's an AC joint, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
yeah, it's not great.
that's more than an eight. When you have a DB run by you and glance, like not even glance, like just lightly brush your shoulder, and you go down in pain, that's more than just an AC joint. So there's some problems there for Dallas. Obviously, you talk about Michael Parsons, Demarcus Lawrence as well to go with it. Offensive linemen who may or may not be healthy. This team might not reach 6 wins. And that's a crazy thought for me because I'm like, this team was going to the play. I mistakenly picked them to lead the division. Mistakenly because I did a blind. I still hate that I did that. And this is just rubbing it in. I was given hope 2.5 years ago that this team might be on its way. That season ended in Zeke playing center and getting knocked on his butt in the last play of the game. And I have been disappointed ever since then. And this just Dak going to the IR kind of sums all that up for me. I know it's a long-winded rant for this dude being poor guy being injured yet again. But honestly, this is crazy, absolutely crazy. I can't do this anymore with the Cowboys. This is I don't know what they're gonna do. Rush might be the answer. He's probably not the answer. You don't have an answer on this roster. Figure out something to go get a quarterback next year.
I know Cooper Rush won a handful of games a couple of years ago, and Dak had the finger injury. I think he was like 4-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
That was also an elite defense they had at the time too. That was holding teams at like 18 points per game at that during that stretch. That was prime Micah Parsons. That was Trayvon Diggs. They were elite on defense at that time. They're not right now. They are very far from elite right now, and all those guys are hurt on top of it. So even if they are elite, we have not seen it this year. Besides maybe a half against the Browns, but as we have learned, everybody is elite against the Browns minus the Ravens and Jameis against Jameis Winston for some reason. But anyway, my biggest question is you traded a fourth round pick for Trey Lance. He's been in your system for is he I know he had that really erratic preseason game with 5 interceptions and 400 yards. Is he really just like the worst practice player ever that you don't want to play him in this scenario? Maybe it's Cooper Rush this week and then they give Trey Lance the next week. Maybe that's what they're doing. They want to give him a extreme ramp up period. I don't know, but like I get it. You keep him as your emergency third quarterback. You don't want to miss the backup. Okay, whatever. Right now, you're giving him a full week going into this game. He would know he's the starter. I don't know why you trade a fourth round pick if you have no intention of putting him in on this point. If he is that just terrible where you can't put him in there, why is he on the roster? Like, why do you have him on the roster if there's no he's 25 years old, I think, 24, like, he's a child by NFL standards. There's a long ways to go. You brought him in for a reason. Jerry Jones bragged about that trade, and they 4th round picks are a valuable commodity, especially to teams like the Cowboys who draft well in those mid rounds. They got Dak
Yep.
Prescott, I think, as a 4th or 5th round pick. Like, they do good drafting in those mid rounds, so I hope we see Trey Lance during this just because. Well, why not, right? Well, let's see what you have there. Because if Trey Lance is bad, okay, well, you're going to get that quarterback like you're well on your way to do anyway. If he's good, oh my God, how do we stumble into this? Then you figure out because his contract expires at the end of the year too. So it's not like you're developing Trey Lance, sitting him on the bench. He's going to be our guy in a year. You got him for 10 more games, maybe 11 if I my math's off. But I would say I think they should go play him for sure. You went to get Trey Lance for this reason, as we just got in our comment section below from Kid Cowboy as well. This seems like a Cowboys fan. This is why you get Trey Lance for why not for this situation. Maybe they give him a week, like a full week, and then it's the following week. I don't know what they're thinking, but I do think we have to see Trey Lance during this, unless Cooper Rush looks like 2024 Sam Darnold out of the gate, which I'll take the odds on under. But I think we gotta see Trey Lance during the stretch, otherwise, what's the point? It just feels like worse malpractice than we already joke about the Cowboys malpracticing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this does feel a little bit like tanking unintentionally. Obviously, not the injury. Obviously the injuries popped up on screen, but that's not what necessarily we're talking about now. We're in the future of the Cowboys here. It feels like an accidental, intentional tank season. And obviously, everybody knows what I'm talking about here. No surprise to anybody that a professional sports franchise would potentially tank for a all-world player in a draft. The problem is there might be one in this draft coming up, maybe two that you're looking at. Like this could change my franchise. Travis Hunter being one, but can he stay healthy in the NFL with that size? I don't know. The other one being Quinn Ewers. Probably not. So it's not like you have a lot of hope there. It's not Shadur. No offense to Shadur. I love Shadur, but he's not an all perennial world talent at quarterback. He played the position really well, but yeah. So what do you do? I mean, you have to figure out quarterback situation. You have to figure out what you have in Trey Lance, and this is no better time to do that than right now. I mean, no offense to Cooper Rush, we know his limitations. He is Brandon. What Brandon? Not Brandon Allen. Derek
Kyle
Anderson.
Orton, yeah, sorry.
Now, Derek Anderson, who I was trying to think of. Derek Anderson is his ceiling, which okay, it's a great backup. That's not what you need in an NFL quarterback. It's not what you need as a Cowboys quarterback. So figure it out. See what Trey Lance can get you for the rest of the season, and call it well. I don't think Cowboys fans are going to hate that idea. Just see what you got. I mean, at this point in time.